Hi, everyone, and welcome to Step One, Your Soul's Gifts. One of the biggest things that you need to know when you are creating and building a more soul-aligned spiritual business is really understanding yourself, knowing your life and soul gifts helps you find your life and soul purpose. So one of the first steps that I think is really important when you're growing your business is getting back to basics. It can be so tempting to try and build a business around your modalities or products that you're selling, rather than really focusing on your biggest gifts, and even your innate traits. So one of the things that I think is really, really important for business, a spiritual business, a soul line business, is to go back and really tap into themselves and their gifts. Now, as we are unlocking more about our life and soul gifts, and learning more about what our life and soul purpose is, we can often, because in the spiritual sector, there's so many choices of the paths that we can choose, and we can often learn so many tools and technique that we get trapped in the ego in relation to the tools. We get trapped in the ego that we need to be everything for everyone, and that, or we need to do things a certain way, the way everyone else is doing it. And that actually is one of the biggest traps that stops you showing up as you and helping you unlock what you're here to share. One of the biggest advantages that I had in my path was because I had so many disabilities and health challenges, I actually had to the way I had to learn things and the way that I had to do my business just to be able to have a business was actually very different from most of my holistic and spiritual friends. And in many ways, when I was started out, I didn't really have that many holistic or spiritual friends, and I don't really have many people to be able to support me. I didn't really have that in any shape or form, if I'm being honest. But what I had was, for some reason, because I was intuitive, I was also encouraged by my father to use my intuition. I allowed my soul to, in many ways, my heart, my soul to guide me. And of course, like everyone, I let the ego get in the way. But I think also I many of us come into the spiritual sector, or we make the biggest leaps and bounds in our spiritual journey when we're broken down, when we are literally broken down, to a lowest level. And I found myself at a very young age, very broken down, to do with my health, and not just to do with my health and my disabilities, but how I was treated by society. I had some conditions that were misunderstood. Um, and I also had a lot of things that they originally couldn't see visually. So I was like a lot of people who have maybe sometimes rare conditions that, because there's not a level of understanding or awareness at that point, I was treated in many ways really appallingly, and went through a lot of situations that brought me to a point where I had to be self-reliant on a spiritual level, and had to learn how to trust myself, and my journey took me along a path that made me recognize how important it was to tap in to myself and listen to the internal voices and external voices that were very distorted. And the first thing that I think is really paramount in a spiritual business is to check in with yourself. Are we just trying to make money? out of something we enjoy, we find passionate about? Or are we really zoning in where our zone of genius is? And are we really utilizing the gifts that we are given? And like many in the holistic and spiritual fields, yes, there were some aspects that kicked in right away of my life and soul gifts. But a lot of that become more evolved or more unlocked as I done a lot of inner work and I worked with lots of different people. And the more I got to understand me at a deeper level, it became easier and easier. The most important thing that we have in the awakening world, right? If you look at the golden age of awakening, what is that all about? It's about us unlocking ourselves to this magic and of light, of the God, of what I mean is it's like it's tapping into heaven on earth, right? And it's tapping into our own heaven and earth within us. That potential, that amazing light and vibration and miracles and magic, and I mean magic in its purest lightest form, not in the in the occult perspective or the dark perspective. What I mean is this vibrance of so many possibilities, but also with the golden age of awakening comes that unveiling of what is not of the light and what is not completely pure or authentic. It helps us. It's a huge opportunity for us to see the dark within ourselves, the limitations, even our destruction, the sabotage, and that and the whole collective in the world. It's all about unveiling illusion. It's also about unveiling the illusion where we give over power to other people. And one of the things that I've always found quite strange, and even since a child, was how much power people give over to celebrities and film stars. And not that I think there's some of these people have got amazing gifts, that's not what I mean. But in many ways, giving over their believing that what they say or what the media tells you about these things, even though it's often just a story, it's just a narrative, it's a projection and how they want to present someone, that we give over our power and we look up to these and put them in almost like an idle state and not use our own inner navigation system. And one of the biggest things that I've noticed in my own work is that the people that can really tap into their gifts and know themselves are the most intuitive, not just, and I don't mean just to do with psychic and medium. And what I mean is they're intuitive from a point that they work a soul level. They're very tuned in on some level in an internal way. And I've met a lot of mediums and psychics who can be very gifted and they're very connected to the external world and some of the other worlds, but they're actually not very connected to themselves and to their own it's like almost like their own power and their own connection, their own soul connection and their own soul power. So they give their power over to maybe guides that are not of the highest light, which may present themselves of the high light, or other things they give over their power again, because they're just fascinated by even the golden age of seduction, the aspects of us that the ego craves to feel more special or to feel more empowered. We're all special and we all have that magic of God, a magic of absolutely so many possibilities within us. But it's a egoic shadow element that in some ways strives for us to be someone else or to be more than what we think we are, when actually what we are is not just enough. We're absolutely more than what we actually think we already are. But when we're trying to be something else, it's the illusion, it's the trying to magnify and inflate aspects of us that we don't need to, because at our core is our most beautiful, pure gifts. It's like pearls, it's like gold, it's like we have this natural gold and pearls within us all. And we all have a really important part to play in this world of awakening, and we all have an important part to play in the world. Every single person has their part to play. The key when you are creating a soul aligned business is understanding what your life and soul gifts are. What is your innate gifts, the gifts that have been with you from the beginning, and those are the gifts that you have suppressed or need to be kind of unlocked, where at some stage along your journey you have pushed down or have distorted beliefs about. So one of the important things that you should always go back to basics when you're creating your business and when you're getting into your branding and your marketing is check in that you actually are standing and owning your life and soul gifts and your purpose, that you're not just focusing on the tools and modalities, or you're just grabbing onto the next shiny object and losing yourself within that. And that is one of the most important things. And obviously I have lots of resources that can help you, increase your awareness and help you maybe, sometimes get reminders about what is the difference between, your gifts, gifts that are innate there and things that we harness. But also in the Spiritual Marketing Club membership, when you go into the platinum level, you get access to thousands of pounds worth of content that helps you in different aspects of your business, from your gifts, tapping into your power, maybe clearing beliefs that are holding you back even from accessing your gifts, and then all the other things that help build the business. But if you don't have this one aspect and you're trying to build your business just around the latest training you've done, or around, if you've maybe suddenly done a coaching course and you're just trying to build around your business around that rather than your gifts, you're going to hit a problem that you're not working from alignment, you're working from the ego, and you're being driven by external things. And the most powerful spiritual workers work at a soul level. And at a soul level can take us, it's an ongoing thing. It's almost like the more that you do the inner work and the more that you do soul work, and you get deeper and deeper into what your soul is not and what it actually is. And it's the same with your gifts, recognizing what is your gifts and what is really just an illusion, or what you are hanging on to. We all have a mixture of gifts that are kind of innate, that are natural within, I think, our energetic blueprint. And there's also gifts that we evolve and learn. There's some that it's like they're part of our soul gifts, so we have to learn to harness them in the most powerful way. But there's also other gifts and skills we learn just to do with life experience or to do with previous jobs or situations, and they all can come in handy. But some of us tend to lean towards the gifts that we've just developed through circumstances, and we don't value the unique power in an innate gifts. So it's getting back to basics. So that is the first important thing I would say, that if you really want to build a soul aligned business, it is about tapping into your life and soul gifts. If this is an area that you need help with, book a one-to-one and I will help you in this area, because you cannot build a soul aligned business if you don't know yourself and you really don't know your life and soul gifts. It's very hard to build a purpose around when you're only scratching the surface. And many of the people I work with, even healers that have been going 10, 20, 30 years full time, in many ways still scratch the surface in relation to knowing themselves. It can be an ongoing process, but there's also other things that can help unveil and unlock things much quicker and deeper. And that's what I'm all about. And that's why I have invested so highly in the last 30 years, because I could see how many people were so far disconnected from this. So step one is about making sure that before you're trying to sell everything, are you aligned? Are you aligned with your purpose, or are you just trying to make something work? Okay, bye for now.